Okay, so this discussion will be about the cestode Echinococcus granulosus. Okay, together with Echinococcus multicularis. Okay, so for Echinococcus granulosus, this is an extraintestinal cestode. So, hindi siya sa intestine nagre-reside. Adults are only found in canines. Eggs are shed in the feces. Okay, so which means that we do not have Echinococcus granulosus adult worm inside of us. Okay? Kasi nakalagay dyan sa canines lang daw siya. Eggs are shed in the feces and wherein we acquire this parasite by ingestion fecal oral route, okay, from feces ng canines, dogs usually. Okay? So, hindi sa tao ha, canines. Humans accidentally ingest eggs from canine feces. Okay? Hexacant embryo migrates to tissues. So, wherein the feces contains the hexacant embryo. So, the hexacant develops into larval stage, which is, if you remember, for Echinococcus species, ang kanyang larva stage, that is the hydatid cyst, okay, in the tissue, okay, like liver, lungs, brain. Okay, so most often these are the extraintestinal location, okay, of the hexacant or the larval stage. Okay, so we have here yung morphology niya, Echinococcus granulosus, same with the multicularis. So adult worm, it consists only of three segments. Ano naman yung segments natin? Merong immature, mature, and then the gravid. Okay, so tatlo lang dito. So the immature, mature, and the gravid. So tatlo lang. Okay, so maliit lang siya. Mas shorter as compared to if we compare it with Tania species, di ba ang hahaba? Okay, it has many or it can have up to 1,000 segments. But for Echinococcus, it has only 3 segments. Okay, so the scolex has 4 acetabula with 30 to 36 hooks. Okay, so we have here the acetabula. So one side, dalawa, the other side, it has also 2. That's why there are 4 acetabula with hooklets or hooks. Therefore, it is armed. Okay, so ano na yung isang diniscuss natin, which is an arm, that is si Tenia saginata. Okay? So, morphology, here we have the hydatid cyst. It is a thin-walled larva containing many thousands of invaginated scolyces. Okay, so we have here yung A. Okay, this one encapsulate the hydatid cyst wall, which is composed of a cellular laminated layer. Yan yung B. Okay, and then yung C, that is the broad capsule. Okay, broad capsule. And then we have this is the whole capsule, broad capsule. It has numerous letter E, that is protoscolyces. Okay, inside protoscolyces and hooklets. Okay, so this is one, parang eto. Okay, a very, this is the hydatid cyst and it has what? The broad capsules. Okay, inside broad capsules are protoscolyces. Okay, so eto siya. Itong maliliit, parang sa loob-looban. Di ba ang dami? A hole that is hydatid cyst. This is broad capsules. Inside broad capsules are the protoscolyces. Okay, so we have here protoscolyces. So this is found. So there are many protoscolyces inside this one. Okay, inside. Sa loob pa pala. Okay, so here, sa loob niyan. Okay, So we have here examples of protoscolysis. Okay, so these two here, these are evaginated. Ito naman, invaginated. Okay, evaginated protoscolysis. So we have here an example ng, yan, yung sa hydatid cyst. Okay, so kung nakikita nyo, parang para talaga siyang cyst, bilog-bilog. It has fluids inside. So, I don't know if what organ is this, pero parang, saan ba to? Baka sa liver, kasi usually liver, lungs, and brain, yung mga tina-target. Okay? So, it looks like a cyst, but that is filled with fluids. Okay? So, yung term natin for infection of Echinococcus is Echinococcosis. Okay? Pag mga tinya, cis, okay? Usually, it's the same with the name. Lagyan mo lang ng cis at the end. Parang strongyloidosis, okay? Ascariasis, enterobiasis, diba? Here naman, it's echinococcosis. Okay, so it's the infection with tiny tapeworms of the genus Echinococcus. So we have two classification nung sakit that is caused by uh, Echinococcus species, the cystic and the alveolar. Okay, cystic echinococcus. Ang hirap din kasi. Okay? Cystic echinococcosis and alveolar echinococcosis. Okay? So, I think pareho lang dapat to echinoco. Kaya siguro ano yun kanina. Tatlong C. Okay? Echinococcosis. Okay? So, dalawa. Okay? Usually, si echinococcosis, it's asymptomatic. Usually, asymptomatic siya, but that is harmful. Okay? Usually asymptomatic but harmful. Okay? Slowly enlarging cysts in the liver, lungs, and other organs that grow often unnoticed through the years. So, it grows, this one, yung mga cysts dumadami, okay, pero hindi siya napapansin. Because usually asymptomatic, there are no signs and symptoms. So, why is it na may dalawang classification daw ng echinococcosis? It's because of this species of the echinococcus that may cause the infection. So, we have here cystic echinococcus, echinococcus. Okay, so echinococcosis is um, also termed as the hydatid disease. Okay, so it's good to remember this one: hydatid disease, hydatid cyst, cystic echinococcosis. So that is caused by the larval stage ng Echinococcus granulosus. Okay? So, si granulosus. Pag yung alveolar echinococcosis naman, echinococcosis, that is caused by Echinococcus multilocularis. Okay? So, okay, so it's meron pa pala siyang multilocularis. Okay? Multilocularis. Mahirap bigkasin. Echinococcus granulosus and Echinococcus multilocularis. Okay? So, the Echinococcus granulosus, the larval stage, that is 2 to 7 millimeter long tapeworm found in the dogs, sheep, cattle, goats, and pigs. Pero ang kanyang definitive host usually si dog. Dogs ang kanyang definitive host. Ang kanyang intermediate host are sheep, cattle, goats, and pigs. So yun nga, usually asymptomatic pero harmful. And again, this is extraintestinal. Okay? So sa humans, extraintestinal siya. Okay? So humans and the intermediate host. But of course, pag yung definitive host, which is sa dog, that is intestinal. Okay? So, si alveolar echinococcosis, okay, si AE, ako lang naglagay niyan guys. Hindi talaga to yung acronym niya, pero para mas shorter, okay, yung pag-encode. So, the AE, alveolar echinococcosis, that is caused by Echinococcus multilocularis. Okay, so this is shorter, 1 to 4 millimeter long tapeworm. So this is the larval stage. Okay, so we are referring to larval stage found in foxes, coyotes, and dogs. Canines ang kanyang uh, definitive host. Okay, this is one of the difference of um, the Echinococcus granulosus from multilocularis. Si multilocularis, the intermediate host are rodents, small rodents. But for Echinococcus granulosus, the intermediate host are sheep, cattle, goats, and pig. Okay, so that's one of the differences. Aside from that, AE poses a much greater health threat to people as compared to CE or cystic echinococcosis. So mas harmful pa pala, mas threatening pa pala si multilocularis as compared kay granulosus. Okay? So we have also there are also other species of Echinococcus like the Vogeli or Vogeli and the Oligarthrus. Okay? So, Echinococcus vogeli and Echinococcus oligarthrus. Okay? So, see, Echinococcus vogeli, it causes polycystic form. Okay? Polycystic. Okay? Pero kapag oligarthrus, that is unicystic form. Okay, so Povegi versus Unoli. Okay, polycystic Vogeli. Povegi. Okay, Povegi. Dito naman Unoli. Okay, for Un, that is unicystic, Oli for oligarthrus. Okay, Povegi versus Unoli. Okay, so Echinococcus granulosus, what is the major pathology? Hydatid cyst in the brain. Okay, at yung mga ito, kanina, these are termed as the cyst, hydatid cyst. Okay, pero usually, saan yan? Liver, lungs, and brain. Okay, so pinaka nakakatakot na kapag it reaches the brain. It can grow to the size of a coconut and contain as much as 2 liters of fluid. So that can cause pressure already if the hydatid cyst is as large as that. That can cause pressure necrosis of tissue. That can result from larger cysts. So as you can see here, parang siyang bola-bola na may tubig sa loob. Okay, so it can grow up to the size of the coconut. Again, that is most commonly found in the liver. Usually sa liver siya. Bakit kaya sa liver? Of course, if you remember how can a man be infected with this one through acid ingestion of contaminated feces of dog. Okay, so it hatches, the egg will hatch into hexaconch embryo. It penetrates the intestinal tissue, lalabas siya from the intestine, pupunta siya into the circulatory system. And in the circulation, usually, lahat ng blood, okay, or yung mga blood natin, it goes through the liver, okay, for detoxification purposes, para malinis, ganyan. That's why the most common site ng hydatid cyst that is in the liver, okay. So we have here Echinococcus granulosus. So that's an X-ray. So merong mga bilog-bilog dyan here kung napapansin nyo. Yan, di ba? Yan. So those are the hydatid cysts. Okay, so we go to the life cycle. So we have here the Echinococcus granulosus for cystic echinococcosis. Okay, so it resides in the small intestine of the definitive host. And here, that is the dog. Okay, the gravid proglotid release eggs. So the eggs are found in the feces. That is found in the feces. And yung difference niya from that of what you call this one, if we compare it with nematodes, yung egg ng nematodes, the eggs of nematodes, particularly si Ascaris at saka si Taenia, they need embryonation in the soil. Okay? They need embryonation in the soil for them to become infective. But here for cestodes, it's different. Once the egg is passed in the feces, that is already infective. Okay? That is already infectious. Okay? Same here with Echinococcus. Kapag yung egg ni Echinococcus nasa feces na, that is already infectious. Okay? After ingestion by a suitable intermediate host, okay, like here we have sheep, or pwede din sa man, okay, so accidental ingestion or fecal oral route of the embryonated egg, okay, so the egg is already embryonated once that is passed in the feces. Hindi kagaya ng Ascaris and Taenia, kailangan nila ng soil. So again, that is, I want to clarify that one, okay? So, after ingestion by a suitable intermediate host, egg hatch in the small intestine of the intermediate host, okay, and release 6-hook oncosphere. Okay, nag-release siya ng 6, yung oncosphere, yan. Oncosphere hatches and penetrates intestinal wall. Okay, so oncosphere is released. Okay, and it penetrate the intestinal wall and migrate to the circulatory system. So, na-explain ko naman na dito, pupunta siya sa small intestine, and then it will penetrate the intestinal wall, and then it will go through the circulatory system, and the circulatory system acts as the transportation vehicle. Okay? So, kumbaga yan na yung magtra-transport dun sa sa oncosphere. Okay? Sa oncosphere into various organs, especially sa liver and lungs. Okay? In these organs, the oncosphere develops into thick-walled hydatid cyst. Okay? So, di ba lalabas yung oncosphere, pupunta sa liver, lungs, and brain that will develop and form hydatid cyst. Okay? So, even here, sa part ng sheep, okay, it will ingest yung embryonated egg in feces. It will hatch into oncosphere. The oncosphere will move out from the intestine, okay, to the circulatory system, and it will travel, okay, mag-stay na siya sa organ, and that will develop into hydatid cyst. Okay, so commonly liver and lung, even sa tao, commonly liver and lung. Okay, and then the oncosphere developed into hydatid cyst that enlarges gradually, producing protoscolyses and daughter cysts that fill the cyst interior. Okay? Yun na yung ganito hanggang dumami na siya. Okay? So, definitive hosts become infected by ingesting. So, paano naman nai-infect ang dog? By ingesting cyst-containing organs of the intermediate host. So, ano yung kinakain ni dog? Yung infected organ ng intermediate host. So, like here, si sheep. Siyempre, hindi sa tao kasi hindi naman kumakain yung dog ng tao. 'Di ba? Hindi naman din siya kakain ng organ ng tao. So, the usual, okay, or for the life cycle, it's the intermediate host. Kakainin niya yung infected liver, kakainin niya yung infected brain, kakainin din niya yung infected lungs. Okay, kaya mai-infect si dog. Okay, so after ingestion, the protoscolyces evaginate. So magkakaroon, eto, protoscolex from the hydatid cyst. Okay, it will attach into the, okay, so this one magi-invaginate. Okay, eto yung protoscolex, magi-invaginate. Mag-a-attach yung scolex niya dun sa intestine ni dog. And then that will develop into adult worm. Okay, so into adult stage. Okay, so that is the life cycle for the Echinococcus granulosus. It's actually the same for Echinococcus multilocularis, but there are some differences. Okay? So, dito, cystic 'Di ba? Cystic echinococcosis. Dito naman is alveolar echinococcosis. So here, same din naman, same life cycle except for the intermediate host. Okay, yung definitive host niya dito pwede din ang dog. So, not only dog but canines. Okay, mga canines, foxes, ganyan. Okay, dogs, pwede din. Okay, so ang intermediate host dito ay um, mga rats. Okay, mga rats. Okay. And aside from that, why is it termed as multilocularis? Okay? Because yung oncosphere niya nagde-develop into multi-chambered thin-walled hydatid cyst. Here, wait lang. Here guys, oh, can you see it? Multi-chambered, kaya multilocular. Okay? Unlike dito, hindi siya multi-chambered. Dito, it's multi-chambered. Okay? So, that is the alveolar hydatid cyst. So, ganun din. Okay? So, naiba lang yung sa intermediate host and definitive host. Okay? And yung sa multilocular or multi-chambered hydatid cyst. Okay? So, yun nga, both produce hydatid disease in many mammals, including rodents, okay, and humans. But unlike in Echinococcus granulosus, si multilocularis produces many small cysts that spread through the infected animal. Madaming small cysts, okay, many small cysts. So what are the clinical presentations? So Echinococcus granulosus infection often remain asymptomatic for years, so no signs and symptoms. But hepatic and pulmonary signs and symptoms are the most common clinical manifestation. Bakit kaya? It's because these are the organs that are commonly infected. Okay? Yung liver and lungs. Of course, dun magkakaroon ng manifestation. Rupture of the cyst can produce a host reaction manifesting as fever, urticaria, eosinophilia, and potentially anaphylactic shock. Okay? So, pwedeng magkaroon ng anaphylactic shock. And aside from that, if it ruptures, what will happen? It can also lead to cyst dissemination. Okay? It can also lead to cyst dissemination. But aside from liver and lungs and brain, okay, they can also spread sa spleen, sa kidney, sa heart, sa bone. Okay? So, madami silang pwedeng puntahan kasi nga, they can be spread, pwede silang mapunta sa circulatory system. And you know naman that for the circulatory system, okay, it supplies blood to all organs. Okay, so E. multilocularis affects the liver as a slow-growing destructive tumor, okay, often with abdominal pain and biliary obstruction. Okay, so kakaiba, diba? Parang tumor, may abdominal pain, and may biliary obstruction, wherein it can be misdiagnosed as a liver cancer. Okay, pwede daw misdiagnose ang Echinococcus multilocularis infection. So we have here Echinococcus buergeri. It mainly affects the liver, okay, wherein it acts like a slow-growing tumor. Secondary cystic development is common. Okay, so even for multilocularis and the granulosus, um, there is also a cause of secondary echinococcosis. So, paano nangyayari yung secondary echinococcosis? Okay, if this is rupture, okay, and then pag nag-rupture siya, it will release protoscolysis that will in turn develop into secondary cyst. So cyst siya, nag-rupture, nag-release ng protoscolysis, yung protoscolysis nag-develop ulit into cyst. Okay, so yun yung secondary echinococcosis. Okay, so I have here, syempre nag-iisip na naman si ma'am, how can you remember this? Okay, so magkukwento na naman tayo, diba? So I have here, Hi, 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 Eki. Okay, so that's the title ng ating short storytelling. So, mom is angry at Echo. Okay? So, because, okay, his dogs scattered its poop. Okay? So, his dog lang pala to. Walang S, isa lang. Mom is angry at Echo because his dog scattered its poop. She said, "Hey, hey, hey," pero tanggalin niyo na lang yung E, 'di ba? "Hey, hey, hey, Eki, move out in this house." So, pinalayas na siya. Kasi yung dog, in-scatter niya yung poop. So, paano na natin matatandaan yung mga main points? Okay. So, Echo, Eki, Echinococcus. Okay? Dog scattered its poop. Bakit kaya nagalit si ma'am? Kasi ni-scattered niya yung poop niya. Kasi yung infective stage embryonated egg, okay, ay nasa poop. Okay? Nasa tae. So, pwedeng ma-infect by ingestion or contamination of food of dog feces. Okay? Of contaminated dog feces. Okay? And pinalayas siya sa house. Eh, ano naman yun kung pinalayas siya sa house? Because, di ba, extra-intestinal. Okay? So, pinalayas daw siya. Extra-intestinal. Sa labas ng intestine. Okay? So, extra-intestinal. And bakit kaya tatlo? Kasi galit na galit si mommy. Okay? Bakit tatlo? Kasi meron siyang tatlong, ano ulit yon? Tatlong segments lang. Okay? Tatlong segments. Si mature, immature, mature, and si gravid. So, tatlo lang siya. Okay? Very simple. So, we have here immature, mature, and si gravid. Okay? So, I hope this story can help you remember. Okay? Can you still remember yung ating sheeted filaria? Ano yung ating sheeted filaria? Lah! Bawal, 'di ba? Si Loa-Loa, okay, si Brugya, tsaka si Cuchareria. Okay? So, yung mga yan, this will help you remember, guys. So, gawan mo lang ng kwento. Okay? Kung nakinig kayo kay Ma'am um, Marvy, di ba? That's a good way of remembering things. So, treatment, we have here chemotherapy, cyst puncture and percutaneous, aspiration, injection of chemicals, and reaspiration. So, it have been used to replace surgery as effective treatments for cystic echinococcosis. Surgery remains the most effective treatment, so it's like removal of the cyst, and the treatment of alveolar echinococcosis is more difficult. Okay? It's more difficult as compared to cystic echinococcosis. So, yun pala yung mga differences. Actually, marami pala siyang differences. Okay? So, yun ulit, yun yung isa pa. Mas mahirap siyang i-treat. Okay? Mas marami siyang cyst, small cyst. So, yan. Kaya nga siya multi-chambered hydatid cyst. Okay, what else? Cystic echinococcosis is controlled by preventing transmission of the parasite. Prevention measures include limiting the areas where the dogs are allowed and preventing animals from consuming meat infected with cyst. Okay? So, kaya nga it's very important yung pinapavet you kapag if you have pet animals, mga ganyan. Okay? So, although pag mga pet animals naman, uh, of course, they will not consume meat, fresh meat from sheep, diba? So, hindi naman to common sa mga dogs, sa pet dogs. Okay? So, alveolar echinococcosis can be prevented by avoiding contact with wild animals such as foxes, coyotes, and dogs, and their fecal matter, and by limiting the interaction between dog and rodent population. Okay?